Dear hosts, we're back with another video, and this time I have Michelle from Cityami, and we're going to be talking about travel trends in 2021. What can we expect? Yes, COVID is still around, some cities are still in lockdown, but people are still traveling. So who's traveling? How long are they staying? And what are we expecting for the future? Yeah, what is going to happen? So listen out. Stay tuned to travel trends in 2021.
So before we get into this, I do want to put a disclaimer out there because I know that there are a lot of conflicting opinions as to whether or not traveling is responsible, whether we are spreading disease and getting other people sick. And I want to say that for sure there are ways to travel in a safe fashion and there are ways to travel in an unsafe fashion. I think you do what you need to do to make sure that you do not get sick and you do not get other people sick when traveling. So it's definite changes in travel. So whereas people used to be able to take 1 and 2 week vacations, go somewhere warm, get a little bit of sun and go back home, this makes it too complicated to do that. So we have seen a lot of people who are semi-nomadic this year. They go somewhere for 2 or 3 months at a time. And we've also seen a lot of people who are, rather than taking 2 weeks and going somewhere warm, they have decided to stay local. So they've rented a car, they rented a cabin. People are still social, and people have been accustomed to being able to travel. Of course, this is a luxury, so not everybody can travel. And those who can't travel are doing different things. So we're all still trying to maintain some normalcy in life for 2021. Evelyn, what have you?
So for me, I traveled to the United States because I have the property here and I was selling, and then I went back home for a couple of weeks because there was nothing to do. And you have to then to take also the precautions of the country you go into, because that's what you have to also remember. With travel, like when I fly to Puerto Rico, I had to come in with a negative test. Guests are going to have to take them. So you have to inform your guests of the rules and regulations of the city that you have. Tons of regulations. So you have to remember, whatever city you go into, it's not a vacation like before. And a lot of places are not open.
Definitely. Yes, and so that leads us to the short-term rental industry and what we've seen. So Airbnb has done so much better than a lot of the other platforms, definitely a lot better than hotels throughout all of this. And that's exactly for that reason. Things are not open. So while you may have the idea that you're going to go somewhere and you're going to relax on the beach, you also still have to eat. You may want to hit the gym. You may want to do any number of things. And that all needs to sort of be included in your unit. So travel trends are people are looking for places with a kitchen. They want a house. They want a place that they can sit down and eat. The other thing to think about is cleanliness concerns. And so people, I think as people are getting back into travel and kind of opening up with it, they want to know, how is cleanliness? How are you maintaining a clean space? Travel is changing. People, I would say, the thing that we're seeing now is people are not going to cities. People are going to the countryside. And again, this comes with, they're looking for kitchens, they're looking for houses. Right now in 2021, the bulk of travel is going to stay in a short distance. People are tending to stay within 5 hours of their home. You still have people who are flying to different places, but it becomes complicated because you can't plan, especially when you're going long distances.
Right. Because we're thinking like, oh, is it only travel for tourism? And there's not. There's travel for work, and you still have the travel nurses who are still traveling all over the United States and getting places. And you also might have someone coming in for a medical procedure, or because they want to, like I was getting people interested in coming into Puerto Rico to study because they're studying remote, but they want to immerse themselves in another country and learn a new language.
So how can we prepare for 2021? I mean, for me, for my business, I would say the one difference that I've made is before it was always a hard and fast no when I had someone who was staying locally. I'm not saying no to these people anymore because there's a lot of people who gave up their apartments. They are becoming semi-nomadic. They are maybe in New York for 3 months and then they go to Florida for 3 months because they can now do this. The other way is we are telling our guests how we're sanitizing for their use. We're telling them what the protocol is, because we still have housekeeping happening during the stay, not tied to the location. They're just going where they are. So I think in 2021, we're going to see a lot of longer stays. We're going to see a lot of travel at home, and we're going to see a lot of people prioritizing homes that are made to look like a home. So the apartments with sparse kitchens, the apartments with terrible lighting, these are not the apartments getting booked. The apartments getting booked are the places that you really want to sit and spend 20 hours a day, because that's how much time people are spending in the home.
Yeah, and another factor is washer and dryer in an apartment. So that is big. We don't have it in the La Casita in Puerto Rico. I don't know if in the future we will get it. We're still more touristy than longer term, but that's a huge factor, is having that washer and dryer in the apartment, and having those amenities that a longer guest needs and expects. You also need to have strong Wi-Fi. I mean, up your game on the Wi-Fi, get the fastest speed, spend that money there, because it's so important for the traveler. They don't want to be going to your place and not having, that speed to be able to work from it. Now, what do you think is going to happen? And this is like, let's look into the future, because I know that
I'm not going to try to guess. In 2022, you will not necessarily flock to cities that are crowded and full of people. You're going to flock to the countryside. People who have been afraid to travel up until now, up until the vaccine has been distributed, they're not going straight to the city. It's a hard transition going from being at home all the time to out in a city. So I think we're going to see still a huge surge in demand for lakeside homes, for ocean homes, for places near outdoor activities. And again, people have been retrained. How they think about things has been retrained. So still, Airbnb has changed how I travel in general, and I've gotten used to traveling with a kitchen, and I don't even want to stay in a hotel that doesn't have a kitchen anymore.
What I think is this going to happen. People are going to want to visit families. They have that sense of like, I haven't seen you, I haven't seen my family, let me travel to it. I think there's still going to be a little bit of concern for safety and cleanliness and things like that. So there's still, that is, I don't know if that's ever going to go away. Yeah, I also think that something that is going to happen is people are going to go into those dream vacations, those trips that they have wanted to take and they never did. I think being faced with more mortality as we have this past year, it might increase the people like, well, I've always wanted to do this. Let me go and do it. There's that.
Yeah, definitely.
Like I've always, the people that have never gone to Europe from the United States, they're going to say like, let me go do that trip, or let me not wait any longer. After they visit family, it will be like, why am I waiting? It's going to be an interesting year. It's going to be like, I'm so looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to 2022, which is when I think that things will shift even further. I mean, I think like the holidays of 2021, like Christmas and Thanksgiving, hopefully by then vaccination is bigger, but we will see a lot of travel of people just wanting to be together. And maybe they want to stay like the entire month from like November to December with families and everything else, or have a space. What I used to get a lot were grandparents in my New York place. I love grandparents. And they used to come for 2 weeks. I think now they might travel and want to stay for longer, for that month or something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
We're going to have to do a video at the end of the year to say like, oh, we were right about this or not.
We were right, we were wrong. I think this is a good point to leave off.
Yes. And safe travels, my dear. I know you're about to.
All right, so I will see you in the other time zone.
Well, dear host, that was another video with Michelle. So tell me, what is your experience for traveling? What are the inquiries that you're getting? Are you already booked for the summer? I know I used to be, but right now in Puerto Rico, we're not. We're like sort of like month by month. It's very unnerving. What is it that you're experiencing in your part of the town? Are people traveling? Is your city still in lockdown? Do you agree with Michelle and I and what was going to happen? So let me know in the comments below. And like always,
Subscribe,
like,
get notified.